The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Game Podcast Network is brought to you by Fantasy. They're open to customers. Play just $5, get $100 bonus funds. Use promo code NBA SGPN. And welcome everyone to the NBA Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Game Podcast Network. It's currently Friday morning, November 14th, around 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm Scott Rachel, joined by Lonte and Scott together. We're going to break down our thoughts for the games on Friday. NBA Cup action. So I know yesterday was a pretty underwhelming slate, only 3 games, but now we have a few more options on the card. For the actual games, we have, I believe it is 10 on the card today. So once again, we have a lot more action than we had yesterday. Actually, it's 9 games on the card. But either way, point is, should be fun. Looking forward to it. Lonte, how's it going? What's up?
Yeah, not much, man. Doing good. Ready to get into it. Not much to discuss yesterday, but yeah, looking forward to the weekend with these Cup games. They've been pretty good so far, though.
Yeah, so far they've been fine. We have seen a couple blowouts, but to be honest, the NBA is kind of accustomed to it. We had 3 games yesterday, all 3 games decided by 10-plus points. So National Blowout Association was in full effect. Yes, the Atlanta game was technically close for a decent portion, but Atlanta did win by 10 in the end. The things I'll point out, Toronto, apparently just a bad matchup for Cleveland. They ended up winning by 13 in the game yesterday. I had Phoenix as my lock. I mean, that was a waste of time. I mean, at the end of the day, the Pacers stink. I heard now Neesmith's going to be out indefinitely, so the injured get more injured, and we'll see how bad Indiana ends up being for the rest of the season, but it's not good at this point in time. And last but not least, the Hawks won again without Trae Young. I believe they're 6-2 now without Trae Young, and on top of that, Jalen Johnson had a monster 31, 18, and 14 game with 7 steals. So Jalen Johnson was just an absolute demon last night, and he ended up leading the Hawks to a win. But I'll ask you quickly, just because we have some time to talk about it. I bring it up every year, and now I got to bring it up again. The Hawks look better without Trae Young. So I want to ask you if you fully believe that narrative, you think it's a coincidence. But I will point out, since Trae Young, I did the research on this myself, since Trae Young entered the NBA in his NBA debut, the Hawks have a better win percentage when he doesn't play. Fun fact. That is a true fact. So I'll ask you, do you think it's a coincidence, or do you think they actually just look better without him?
Probably a little bit of both. I mean, you probably have to, look at what teams they faced and like things of that nature, and like part of the year, like which part of the year the games were. Yeah, so I mean, that's the
thing though. They did beat the Clippers. Clippers are bad. I mean, they beat the Kings and they beat Utah. Utah is not that bad at home. Beat the Lakers by 20.
Yeah,
beat Orlando by 15. Does that count for anything?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but I think it's still some stuff that they just a level they can't get to without Trae. Like when it's time to like get a basket, get a guy a basket. They don't have a ton of shot creators, and they're still missing Naw as well, right? I think he was out for the last few games. So yeah, I mean, I don't really. It's like half and half. I don't really, put a ton of stock into it, but I think that number that those numbers that you just reeled off are pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think the reason why I keep bringing it up, besides the fact that it does support a narrative I've been pushing for a couple of years, it's a reminder that the Hawks did not extend Trae Young. They've been very, very unwilling to actually break the bank open to extend their superstar player. And I do wonder if people in the front office have noticed the same thing that I have, which is when Trae plays, we're not as good as people think. And when he doesn't play, we're actually kind of underrated. So I actually am kind of wondering if Atlanta is paying attention to this, not just because I brought it up, but because of the fact that they are potentially still on the hook for paying Trae Young a new contract during the offseason or during the middle of this season. And I am wondering if, I don't want to say it's a foregone conclusion that he's gone, but I am wondering if enough people have kind of realized in that organization maybe not paying him that much money is the better move.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I still think it's just a level that he takes the team to. But again, it's kind of if
you're saying a certain level. For the record, we wouldn't pick this team to, I think, do much anyway in terms of beating the Cavs or the Knicks in a series. Correct?
I would I think they'll be competitive. I think they got a better shot of beating New York than they do Cleveland. But
they tend to do well against New York, especially Trey. But
Trey's a big game player, man.
He is, but I think the point I'm trying to make though is when you're saying they might be better in the playoffs with Trey compared to without, I think there's still a relatively low ceiling there. I don't see them being an NBA Finals team. Is what I'm
of course not. My thing is without Trey, they won't win the first round game. They won't win the first round series. With them, I think they will.
I honestly, I think that you could argue the playoff expectations with and without Trey might be the same in the Eastern Conference. You can make that argument, and I feel like I wouldn't really get in your way on that. But I wanted to bring it up because it does once again open the door to possibility of a midseason trade where they decide, you know what, we're not going to extend Trey. We don't want to lose him for nothing. I know signing trade's always an option postseason, but there is a chance maybe Atlanta trades him midseason. So we can see what happens here, but I'll put it this way. With the Hawks playing this well, they're 6-2 without him. I do wonder if that might give a little nudge to maybe pull the trigger on trading away Trey midseason.
It's about 26 teams that are hoping the same thing.
Yeah, we're going to see. But I do wonder, because I think you'd agree if they were fully committed, they would have paid him already.
Yeah, you know how that salary cap stuff is, but I do agree they probably wanted to see what this year kind of looked like because
you're hoping to get him on the cheap because I feel like you're going to be paying for Trey a decent amount anyway.
Yeah, expectations were for them to be a player in the conference, and right now even without him they're still right there. What are they top 6 in the East?
Yeah, right now they are. I'm trying to remember if they're exactly 6th or if they're a bit higher than that, but they're 8-5. They're first place in the division right now.
Yeah, and that division is pretty much a crapshoot with the injuries to Miami and also the injuries to Paolo and Franz. So you got what Cleveland, the Knicks, Boston, Orlando, and then Detroit and Atlanta. I think that's right there, in between top 5.
Well, I'm going to toss out Boston because without Tatum, what's the point?
Yeah, but it is the East though. I don't think it's 8 teams in the East better than Boston.
I don't know about 8 teams, but I don't think Boston's that good.
Yeah. They're a fine team. So
yeah,
but yeah, I just think that they probably were looking for.
For the record, Atlanta right now is 5th.
5th, yeah.
However, there is currently, I know that Cleveland is 8-5 and the Sixers are 7-4, but technically Atlanta is tied. For the win percentage, not the same. Still the same amount of games back of the 1 seed as the Knicks for the 2 spot. So technically could be a 2 seed, but they're all very close.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, a point is that is going to basically wrap up what happened yesterday. Before we get into the card for Friday, a reminder that you could check out all the shows on the network in one easy location. Check out the SGPN feed on Spotify or Apple. To subscribe today. You can find all of the episodes for every show in one easy feed. So if you like the NBA Gambling Podcast, you also like the MLB Gambling Podcast, for example, and you also like the Hockey Gambling Podcast, you can find all of them in one easy location. Check out the SGPN feed. Free to subscribe. Check it out on Spotify or Apple. So moving on to the card for Friday. Starting off with the first game. Speaking of 2 teams in the Eastern Conference, you have the Heat taking on the Knicks. For this one, Knicks are laying 6.5. The over-under is 238.5. Last time we saw Miami, they ended up having a pretty bad no-show against Cleveland, who was missing pretty much their entire team. They beat Cleveland in the overtime game. They had a rematch, and you ended up seeing Cleveland sit Mitchell and Mobley and Garland, and they still scored 130, and they won the game. So not exactly a great look for Miami, but we know Miami does play high-scoring games. There's going to be some variance associated with it. For the injury report, though, still have no Bam, still have no Hero, and we know Rozier might never play again. For the Knicks, you have no Brunson, who got injured in the 4th quarter against Orlando, left on crutches. We'll see how long he's out for. Now, the Knicks are laying 6.5, which at first glance does feel like a lot, but at the same point, we do know that Miami's also shorthanded, and the Knicks have been good at home this season. They were not good against Orlando before the Brunson injury anyway, as Orlando kind of buried him from start to finish in that game. I'll ask you, though, 6.5, 238.5. Any thoughts on the side or total?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was too high, to be honest with you. Miami did beat them 115-107 at home late October. They're struggling. I mean, Miami does struggle on the glass without Bam, but I don't think there's anybody on the glass outside of, Josh Hart that kind of scares you if you're Miami. They're ranked 28 or 29th, I'm sorry, in offensive rebound percentage. The Heat are. They're 27th in rim percentage D. So, like, going to the rim, Cat could have a big game. I like over, though. I mean, I know without Brunson, with Brunson, the ball has been moving a little bit better, but without him, that just means more ball movement, more flow. Everybody, the ball's going to get spread around. So, I mean, they are 11-6 without Brunson. They were 11-6 without Brunson last year. So, I like the Heat here to bounce back after that poor effort, which we kind of touched on that. Cleveland could be live in that game because of that's just typically what happens in the NBA.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I was half joking or it was all just historical context for me, but I said Cleveland money line because I just thought that it was the type of game Miami would drop, and they dropped it. So
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I like over as well. I think both teams, obviously, with Miami, the new offense wants to get up and down and less staggered, like time half court offense with Brunson being out. I think we see some points here, but I think the number's too high. So I like Miami, and I like over.
Yeah, I think Miami hangs in there. I like the over in this game with you. Once again, even without Brunson, I still think the Knicks have enough weapons to score against this defense. Miami facing off against a Cleveland team with no Mitchell, no Garland, and no Mobley gave up 130. So I don't like this defense. They play fast. They play the fastest pace of any team in the league. I see a bit of a track meet happening. So I like the over in this game. Miami, I don't know if I'm going to be blindly taking their overs, but if the total's below 240, I'm definitely going to be focusing more on the overs than unders based on how Miami's played this season. So I like the over with you. I think the Knicks could bury him, but without Brunson, I'll be skeptical of that. I'll go for Miami in this one with you. Moving on to the next game. My Nets, who are really bad, taking on Orlando, who's laying 13.5. The over-under's at 223.5. For the injury report, you have no Paolo, who, of course, got injured, hurt himself in the first half of that Knicks game, and he's going to be out. We'll see how long, but either way, definitely not playing in this game. And you have no Mo Wagner. Franz Wagner, though, now has the team to himself, basically. For the Nets, you have Sharp, who's probable, Highsmith still is out, and Cam Thomas is still out. Now, the Nets, we know, are tied for the worst record in the league. They're currently 1-10. They are every bit as bad as the record suggests. For Orlando, they are the definition of mid. They are 6-6 overall. They are 3-3 at home and 3-3 on the road. Then again, did play well against the Knicks as they ended up burying them, and they won that game by 17. So I'll ask you for this one, Lonte, because without Paolo, you might be saying to yourself, 13.5 feels like a lot for an Orlando team that has been objectively average so far this season. Then again, we have seen Franz play without Paolo, and it actually has gone okay in the past. But first glance, I like the under. I think this total's too high. I know Orlando's offense got going against the Knicks, but the Nets can't score, and I do think Orlando will be able to suffocate this Nets offense because I think we could suffocate this offense. So I'll ask you what you like, but first glance, I like the under in this game.
Yeah, I was looking at the Brooklyn team total under to better hit on what you talked about. The Magic are looking to go above 500 for the first time this year with the high hopes, the high win total. All of the sleeper team in the East. They've won 5 of 7, so 5 of their last 7. So they've been going really well. Franz is dealing with a broken nose. He's still playing though. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how he takes on more of the role, which, like you said, he's done before.
I'll say this though: masked Franz played well.
Yeah, he played well. He did play well. And Brooklyn is. I mean, they're just Brooklyn. They're looking for just about anything to provide hope for the fans because Jordy Fernandez gave a quote about how well Yegor looked in the last game, and he did look good. But it's just he played one game. He had 16, 5, and 4, 1 turnover in 28 minutes. I mean, he did look good, but let's not overreact here. It's just one game, and he still hasn't done a ton. So they're looking for
to be fair, the other 4 rookies haven't been noticeable at all. So at least one.
they haven't played though. Like Drake hasn't played. Wolf is in a G League.
That's kind of my point, though, is that at least there's one rookie that he can praise in the press conference, because there aren't many great highlights for these rookies so far.
Yeah, but I don't know how they score. The Magic have put an emphasis on playing better defense since early on in the season. Their numbers don't kind of reflect that because of how poorly they were early on. But I do think they can shut down this Brooklyn offense. So I'm going team total under for Brooklyn.
Yeah, I agree. I see people mentioning that I'd say the incentives on Orlando to run up the score, because it's an NBA Cup game. You also have to keep in mind for point differential. I'm not sure they need to, but that is definitely a good thing to have in your back pocket. Orlando might just bury them outright by 15 in the first half. And at that point, you're coasting. Because the Nets are, once again, a really, really bad basketball team. So I understand it's a lot of points with Orlando, but I get it. I'd rather go for the under. I just think the Nets might fail to reach 100 in this game, and we'll just go from there. Moving on to the next game, matchup between the Sixers and the Pistons. For this one, Pistons laying 5.5. The over-under's at 231.5. Now, for this game, you have no Embiid, you have no Paul George, and Edgecombe is questionable. For Detroit, they had a nice win without any of their star players. You saw no Cade, no Duren. Doesn't matter when you have B-Ball Paul on the team, and they were able to bury the Bulls in their last game. Shout out to Denise Jenkins, who ended up having a really nice double-double against Chicago. But either way, Detroit, currently number 1 in the Eastern Conference at 10-2. Detroit basketball is alive and well. For the Sixers, they beat Boston in a very low-scoring game. Philly, so far this season, is still fun. I do think they are, you could argue, once again, a team that is not going to threaten the postseason, but at least they're fun early in the regular season. But Detroit, right now, you have Cade who's questionable. You have Stewart and Duren who are questionable. You have Tobias Harris who's out, Jay Nivey who's out, Asar is out, and you get the drill. So I'll ask you, let's assume that Cade and Duren and company play in this game, because it's an NBA Cup game. They sat out the last game. I'm assuming they'll play in this one. I'll ask you, if those guys play, do you want Detroit? And if those guys sit, do you want Philly?
Yeah, I think the line has to be – I think it's indicating that they are going to play, but I still think it's too high, whether they play or not. I like Philly a lot in this game. Detroit's playing extremely well. They won 111-106 last week in Philly. I think they were on, a 7 or 8 game win streak that you talked about? They have the requisite depth to
They won 8 in a row.
Yeah, so I think Philly is one of those teams that's been overachieving. Obviously Embiid being in and out of the lineup doesn't help, but they've been somewhat better without him in this specific role, with the youth with the youth movement kind of going with VJ and Maxey. And Maxey's taking another step that, I didn't know if he could go another level, but he's taking that step and taking on all of the responsibilities of scoring. And
Drummond's been pretty good filling in.
Drummond's been good. Drummond's been good as well, yeah. So, I like the core group that they have. McCain's kind of working his way back as well. They're playing a lot more 3-guard lineups. Detroit is solid, but 5.5 against a Philly team that shoots the ball well. They're 5th in 3-point offense. They're going to have to knock down some shots, because Detroit is the best at protecting the rim, and I think they can do so. 5.5 is a little bit too big. I think that this number is with Cade and Duren, but if you want to wait around till they actually root in and it maybe gets bet up, I don't mind that either. But I like Philly still. Anything with a plus sign beside it.
Yeah, I see Free mentioning that the Sixers do give up a lot of points in the paint per game. I think it's a good matchup for Duren anyway. We know Cade, I think, is going to have a solid matchup anyway, just based on his size. I don't really know which, I'd say, backcourt member is supposed to guard him. Like, who are you going to give the assignment to? Edgecombe might not play. We know Maxey's too small to guard him. What do you do? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Put Watford on him and you just hope it works out?
Oubre, probably. Oubre usually guards like one of those perimeter guys, so I would probably Oubre.
I'll put it this way, though. I think Oubre's motor defensively is better than people realize, but I still like Cade. I still like Cade in that matchup, obviously.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But, Duncan Robinson's been good. I'm not saying he's going to actually win 6th Man of the Year, but I gave him a plug in that episode, and he's been good so far this season. Detroit just has a certain, I'd say, chemistry. It feels like Bickerstaff has the team rolling. Yes, I know Nurse has done a good job with the Sixers too, but I'll go with Detroit. Of course, assuming Cade plays and Duren plays, but I do think that if either sit, I'll go for Philly. but I'll go for the Pistons in this one. See a question from Mike. If Drummond is out, I don't see him listed at all. I think he's just playing. I know Embiid for a fact is out.
Yeah,
so Embiid's not playing.
If Drummond's out, that's big.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything. I see Drummond still listed with no injury designation. So I'm assuming Drummond will be starting with Embiid not playing, and we'll go from there. But for this game, I'll go for Detroit at home minus the 5.5. Before we get into the rest of the card for Friday, reminder, they're brought to you by our sponsor, Novig. So if you do like getting into great prices, check out Novig, the number one prediction market for sports in America. You can use their platform to get reduced juice on some bets that you like. Available in a bunch of seats, 35 plus to be exact, down the app when you do so. You get a nice deal with us. Get $50 to spend just $5 if your promo code SGPN. Once again, you can get $50 spending just $5. You use our code SGPN and actually Novig, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Nordic Fantasy. So if you like pick 'em entries, chance to win 5,000 times your entry. You pick higher or lower on your favorite player stats. In different sports, you can mix and match between NBA, between NHL, college sports. You could even do esports if you want to. But a reminder, you can check out the new offer they have for new customers. Play just $5, get $100 bonus funds. Use promo code NBA SGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the NBA Game Podcast. Finish going for the first couple games for the card on Friday. Time to move on into the next game on the card. So moving on to this one. Looking at a matchup between the Blazers and the Rockets. Now, the spread is 7.5 in favor of Houston at home. The over-under is 236.5. For the injury report for this game, you have no Scoot still, no Tybal, and no Wesley. For Houston, same as usual. No Finney Smith for now, and Van Vliet is out for the season. Houston, though, 7-3. They buried Washington in their last game, as you should, as a good team. For Portland, Avdi has been incredible. They have been winning games. They are currently 6-5. I'll point out that they ended up beating the Pelicans the last game on the road. Pelicans stink, but you know what? Shaedon Sharpe had 35, so there's that. But I'll ask you for this game. Portland recently, not the best on the road. They have lost 2 of their last 3 road games, but I will point out that once again, you can argue that this should be a very close game, might come down to the wire. I think Houston is the more talented team, at least based on the scoring depth they have. But I'll ask you, 7.5 and a total of 236.5. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I like dog and under. Portland matches up well with Houston because of that, that size. Portland's a physical team. They got good positional size. They got the rotation of bigs. And Denny's been really good. I think you talked about him in the last episode. 26 a game, 14th in the NBA. He's got 5 straight games with 25-plus points. That's the longest streak since Dame in 22-23. Sharpe has been good as well. He went 11-11 from inside the 3-point arc. So that's the most in a game since 1982. So he's been really good. And what Portland does, they pressure the ball. They're first in turnover percentage, and Houston struggles with turnover percentages. They're bottom 7 in the league, and that's because they don't have, a traditional point guard. So they're kind of just relying on just getting the ball up court and getting into their offense. So I think that Portland slows the game down. I think they're physical on the boards. I like them to keep it close. Shout out to Reed Shepherd, though. Reed Shepherd's playing extremely well. Double figures in 4 straight. I've been hammering his props. He's been like 8.5, 9.5 for all season. That's probably no longer the case. Averaging 16.3 on 65.8% shooting. So Reed's been good. Reed's been good. I think that this will be a slow-paced game. Not a lot of fast break points. So I'm going to go with Portland and the under in the game.
Yeah, so I think Portland can hang in there. So I agree with you on that side of the equation. However, I disagree about the total. I like the over in this game. Portland defensively has really not been as good as I thought, but then again, they're playing faster than anyone thought that they were going to play going into the season. They're looking at 4 of Portland's last 5 games, getting to at least 238. So they're playing just a bunch of high-scoring games because they play fast, and the defense has not been as, I'd say, dialed in as I thought it was going to be preseason. The Rockets offensively have been quite good as well. They scored at least 122 in 6 of their last 8. So I disagree about the total, because I do think that Portland has just been playing faster than people have thought, and that has resulted in more points in general in their games. The problem I have with Portland in this matchup is that besides Klingon, whose minutes can be very inconsistent, they're going to get murdered on the boards in this game. You can argue that Time Lord might play maybe 15 plus, we'll see, but I just don't know how they keep Houston off the glass, because Klingon is a good rebounder, but we know that he also is not exactly the fastest guy out there. So I am wondering if defensively Houston will get him involved in pick and rolls and make him unplayable. And at that point, you're going to end up having to use maybe Time Lord at that point. Houston has a very weird brand of offense, which is working, which is just pure bully ball. They don't shoot that well from the outside, but they're going to grab every rebound. So good luck to you. But I think I'll go Portland plus the points. I like the over in this game, though. I just think the pace is going to be there, and Portland's been a very high-scoring team based on their lack of defense and their actual pace. I'll go with the over in this game personally. Disagree there, but I agree with you about the points for Portland. Moving on to the next game, you have the Hornets taking on the Bucks. So Bucks are going to be laying 9.5 in this game. We saw Charlotte just beat Milwaukee, but Giannis missed that game, and Giannis is now back for this one. No Prince and no Porter for this one. I believe Prince just had neck surgery, so he's going to be out indefinitely. For Charlotte, though, he's finally returned. LaMelo Ball is back in the lineup. For the injury report, though, decent amount of guys listed. No Cockbrenner, no Josh Green, no Miller, and no Grant Williams. But once again, LaMelo is officially back in the lineup, but Milwaukee's laying 9.5 because so is Giannis, and you're looking at the front court options for Charlotte. It's not great. You have Diabate as their center, no Cockbrenner, who's a good rim protector. Have fun trying to stop Giannis. I'll ask you, though, we saw Milwaukee get killed against this team last time out. Do you just think it's a pure chip on their shoulder? Giannis is back to bury him? Or do you think that with LaMelo back in the lineup, Charlotte might have something for him?
No, I'm agreeing with the first part. I like the Bucks to put a number on them. They were thoroughly outplayed, and they were mostly outplayed on the glass, 50-34 rebounding advantage. Charlotte's actually really good offensive rebounding, fourth in offensive rebound percentage. They're also top 5 in rim protection, but without Kalkbrenner. I mean, he like results a lot into that. And Musa is good like on the glass, but he's not a good rim protector. So I think it's going to be a freeway to the basket for Giannis. And whenever they try to build that wall, I believe that he'll spray out the shooters, which is a weakness of Charlotte's. I mean, Charlotte is 28th in three-point percentage defense, so you can look for guys like AJ Green, Ryan Rollins, even Kuzma, who's been playing well, to kind of shoot some threes off of those driving kicks from Giannis. So I think Milwaukee buries him here. Charlotte, they led that game pretty much wire to wire, and I liked them in that game. They snapped the 3-game losing streak. LaMelo coming back, good big picture, but just not so much in this specific game. So I like Milwaukee to put a number on. I'll probably win a layup to like 12-13. I think they vary.
Yeah, I think Milwaukee gets some revenge. I think they'll look good at home tonight, so I'll go with them. Now, LaMelo coming back also does not mean he's going to look sharp in his first game back. There is a chance LaMelo comes back, looks rusty, and just at the end of the day just doesn't have a great game. That is possible too. I thought this total was massive. And I understand that Charlotte with LaMelo plays fast, and I get that they don't really guard anybody, and I know that this could result in Milwaukee maybe scoring 125. I am going to point out, though, that in LaMelo's last 2 games, the Hornets did score less than 108. So just because LaMelo's back does not mean this team's immediately going to walk into 115. And I think Milwaukee could go up early. Maybe they'll coast. We'll see. But I do think this total feels pretty high to me. I mean, for example, Houston, we know, has been a great offensive team recently. That game landed 237. Doesn't 240.5 feel massive for LaMelo's first game back in the lineup in a couple weeks? It feels pretty high to me.
Yeah, I think so. And I believe that the shooters I think Con really struggles tonight. I think they'll put a combination of Giannis, Portis, and even some Ryan Rollins on him to kind of give him some different looks. Milwaukee's actually really good at defending the 3 as well. So I kind of think that they struggle to score the ball. Melo, I mean, they haven't said that he's going to be on a minutes restriction, but I think you summed it up perfectly. Not sure they want to give him a full workload after coming back from that ankle, which has been habitual for him.
And even if they do, no guarantee he's going to look sharp not playing in a couple weeks anyway.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So I just think 240.5 is massive. I understand that with the pace potentially and with the lack of defense for Charlotte, maybe Milwaukee does walk into 125. But I do think that this total is assuming LaMelo's just going to hit the ground running in his first game back. And I'm not sure that's going to happen. So I like the under in this game, actually. But I think Milwaukee does win by double digits. Moving on to the next game. You have the I accidentally forgot to change the matchup here. So you have the Timberwolves who are playing in this one against the Kings. I accidentally wrote Knicks, so my bad. Let me just fix that really quickly. Either way, though, we know the Timberwolves are favored by a ton. They are laying 12.5. Over-unders at 240.5. Doug Christie, well, he's trying to earn his paycheck because he's calling out the entire roster, a roster that stinks, but he's saying that there's a lack of effort there, and it's disgraceful to the uniform of the Kings to put together an effort like that. I disagree. This kind of sums up the entire Kings franchise, so I feel like it's pretty par for the course. But the Kings stink. Last time we saw them, Atlanta beat them by 30-plus in Sacramento. The beam is still being saved for a rainy day because they have not won many games so far this season. Now, Minnesota, look at the injury report for this team. They're healthy. Shannon's not playing, but besides that, they're fine. For Sacramento, we saw no Levine last game. He is back. Sabonis is questionable for this game. Monk is questionable, and Keegan is still not playing. So they brought in Precious Achiuwa, who is now the power forward for this team. But we know Minnesota has been playing better lately, and they're pretty much entirely healthy. So I'll ask you, do you think the Kings respond to Doug Christie at all, or do you think this team just stinks? It doesn't matter what the coach says, and they'll just get buried in this game anyway.
Yeah, I like the latter part of it. I like Doug Christie. I like how he coaches. I like some of the things that he says, and he's really good with the media.
I mean, what's he supposed to say? Like, at the end of the day, even if this team stinks, you're getting paid to coach the team. You got to try something.
Yeah, but I mean, I like him holding guys accountable. A lot of the players kind of like him because they bode well with former players for whatever reason. He's kind of a player's coach.
I get it though. Former players have been in the trenches before. Like there's some say relatable aspects to having a
but I mean, he just doesn't have the team is just not well put together for the
team's horrible.
Yeah, they got 4 straight losses. They gave up. Did they give up like 130? You said 133.
133.
Yeah, they gave up 144 to Minnesota. When Minnesota was on the road, Minnesota's playing well, man. They won 5 of the last 6. Ant challenged those guys. The coaching staff challenged those guys to be better defensively, and that's what they've done. They've not allowed more than 117 points in 5 of their last 6. So, I mean, I'm going to team total over until it loses. But the only positive I will say about Sacramento, I would look at some DeRozan props. Minnesota's drop coverage would allow a lot of open looks for DeRozan. Minnesota's.
Do you think that's more of a DeRozan or Levine matchup? Because Levine is willing to just completely pop on those threes.
Yeah, either or. But I probably like DeRozan a little bit more. Minnesota's bottom 5 in mid-range percentage defense. So that's the only way I could look say anything positive about the Kings. I would look at DeRozan props. But outside of that, Minnesota team total over. I would not mind laying this number, but the team total over is a little bit more enticing.
Yeah, the sad part is that the Kings are 3-9, and they've only played 5 away games, and they're 1-4. So they've been bad at home, they're bad on the road, they're bad at everything. I like Minnesota with you in this game. Thad giving McDaniels a shout, as you should, because McDaniels has been very good this season. I don't mind dropping dimes a suggestion of the team total under for Sacramento, because this team is just not very good, and you're looking at Minnesota's defense kind of ramping it up lately. But I do think the Timberwolves probably roll in this game. I think the Kings are just bad. I got nothing else to add. And even if Sabonis does play, have fun with the rim protection. It's not going to be pretty. That's what I'll say. Not to mention, by the way, I mean, of course, I ended up seeing it in the fourth quarter once Sabonis fouled out in that Nuggets game. Damn, Drew Eubanks looks horrible. I just want to throw that out there because if Sabonis is out, they got serious problems because Eubanks looks atrocious so far this season. So, yeah, I like Minnesota in this game. Moving on to the next game, Lakers laying a ton on the road, laying 9.5 against the Pelicans. Pelicans, we know, stink. The over-unders at 227.5. Now, for the injury report for this game, the Lakers currently have just pulling up the injury report here. They have no LeBron, still no Vincent, but you still have Luka, still have Reeves. Last time we saw them, they got buried by the Thunder. Don't worry, every team gets buried by the Thunder, with the exception of Portland, who was down 20 and somehow came back and won the game. For the Pelicans, though, they're 2-9. Still no DeJounte, still no Poole, still no Zion Williamson. And, of course, for some reason, Kevon Looney is still starting, and Derek Quinn's coming off the bench, even though he might be the best player on the entire team. For the Lakers, we saw them earlier this season against Atlanta get buried, and they came back out against Charlotte and covered. So we have seen them respond to this type of spot before. We know Redick can be a pretty, I'd say, demanding coach, and I think that the Lakers' effort will be a lot better going from the Thunder, who are basically unbeatable at this point in time, to going against the Pelicans, who are as beatable as teams can be. I'll go with the Lakers in this one. I do think they'll bounce back here. The total I thought was interesting, actually, because the Pelicans defensively we know are really bad, but the Lakers like to play relatively slow with Luka as the main offensive option. Pelicans not playing that fast either. Might be an ugly game in general, but I thought about the under in this game. But I think I do like the Lakers because on principle, there are a couple of teams in the league, you know which teams I'm talking about, where I just can't take any spread that is available because those teams are that bad. New Orleans, the Nets, the Pacers, and the Wizards. I'm good. Like, you can have whatever the hell you want. I am not going to partake in this experiment. I'm not picking New Orleans. I'll go with the Lakers, and I'll go with the under.
Yeah, I bet New Orleans the other night against Portland, and that was a sweat, but it got there.
It's never fun, though, even when you win. It's never going to be a fun, or it's never going to be an easy ride.
Yeah, but I think the Lakers get right here. I mean, this is a perfect game for them to get right. Luka was held a 19-point season low. Austin Reeves, 13 points. They were both combined 11 for 32 from the field. It
really didn't matter. The game was over in 5.
Yeah, I mean, but that's to be expected. I would look at Luka and Reeves props, and I would lay the number. New Orleans 27th in defensive rating, the Lakers top 10, or actually 6th in offensive rating. They're 3rd in rim percentage offense. The Lakers are. You talked about it continuously. We've talked about it continuously. And no rim protection, no bigs for the Pelicans. So Luka should eat. I might even look at some 8 and rebound props. Luka should eat. Austin Reeves should eat in that drop coverage. I like the Lakers to bury him here. I'll be looking at Luka to have a really, really big game. I like Mike brought up the first quarter points. That's a really, really good look for Luka. He typically comes out after a bad game, and he's going to make 2 or 3 ridiculous threes en route to a double-digit scoring outing. So I like the Lakers to bounce back major in this game. Wouldn't mind laying a number. I would more so look at the team total over, though. I think they have what it takes to score north of 120 here, and the Pelicans don't have a ton of resistance at the rim as well.
Yeah, for the record, Luka's first quarter points are at 10.5. He has had at least 12 first quarter points in 5 of the last 7. Yeah, so okay. The number is high, but for Luka, maybe not high enough because he plays the entire first quarter. I do want to ask you, though, just to bring it up. I know it's about New Orleans, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I'm assuming the Pelicans gave Looney a guarantee they were going to start him when they signed him.
Probably. Because, they paid him like that, though. He got a decent contract.
Yeah, it was a donation of money for a guy that has no offensive talent at all. But he provides veteran leadership for a team that is objectively horrible. But I think we all know that Queen is the best big on that team, and they're still just throwing Looney out there because I'm assuming they told him when they signed him, we got to start you. So That's probably what happened. But look, I don't think Looney's very good. I know what his role is. He's a good rebounder, has an offensive talent. If you liked watching Reggie Evans play basketball, then I can interest you in Kevon Looney. But
Reggie Evans.
Yeah, the point is Derek Queen is the best big on that team, and is coming off the bench. So I just don't take this team seriously. Then again, there were some rumors if the Pelicans lost to Portland, Willie Green would be fired. They lost to Portland, and he's still here. So don't believe everything you see on the internet, but either way, the Pelicans stink. Yeah. Moving on to the next game, you have the Clippers. Speaking of teams that stink, they're laying 2.5 against Dallas. I really want to play the toilet bowl sound effect for this game. I know I really can't, but I kind of want to because the Clippers are awful and the Mavericks stink. Clippers laying 2.5. The over-under's at 219.5. For the injury report for this game, you still have Kawhi, who is out, still planting trees, so keep an eye out for him. But either way, for the Mavericks, they are potentially getting healthy again. PJ Washington is questionable. Anthony Davis might play. He's questionable for this game as well. You have no Kyrie, no Exum, and Lively is questionable for this game. Now, the Clippers are, look, the Mavericks we know are really bad. They're 3-9. Do you know what the Clippers record is?
4-12? No, 4-10. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they are currently 3-8.
Oh, okay.
So as bad as Dallas is, the Clippers are half a game ahead of Dallas, only because they've played one fewer game. So the Clippers stink. I feel like people haven't noticed just how bad the team actually is. Now, truth is, I'm between a rock and a hard place here because I hate both teams, and you got to pick one. I'm assuming AD is going to play. It's probably not a good sign that the owner's asking for medical charts before allowing Anthony Davis to return. That is not what you want to hear in the media because it feels like your owner's kind of micromanaging things. But either way, Dallas is at home. They have no guards at all. The Clippers have Harden and Zubac, and besides that, I don't think anybody's done anything. We know Beal's out for the season, but that didn't matter anyway. It would be really good on this team, Norman Powell. But I'll ask you for this one. Yeah, you want to lay 2.5 with the bad team, or you want to get 2.5 with the bad team?
Yeah, neither. I would look under. I think that's the best play. Lewis brought it up as well. I mean, if you want to look a little bit deeper into that, like that Anthony Davis versus the owner, like I've read and heard that he's been ready to play for like a week, and the owner just won't let him for whatever reason. Like it's really weird, and probably people are speculating like they're trying to find like a trade suitor and don't want him.
That was what I was inferring for that. Unless the argument is, look, at the end of the day, our team's not very good. The fan base wants to riot. At least they got rid of Nico finally. But maybe they're just saying AD is so brittle, we're not even going to bother taking a chance. We want him to be fully healthy. But either way, they're handling AD in bubble wrap, which is expected. Yeah. They have to flip him, right? I mean, this team's a lost cause.
They should. I would get rid of Kyrie as well, to be honest.
I don't know what you'd be getting for either guy for the record, but you might just have to scrap it and just go from there.
Yeah, they're off to their worst start in a worst 12-game start since 2017, 2018. I mean, Clippers are no better. 6-game losing streak. Now they're on a road for a 7-game road trip, which Ty Lue and some of the guys were kind of like rallying behind. Okay, like we're on a road trip together, build a continuity, put together some wins. I think it's a coin flip game. I'll probably end up taking a dog. I don't trust either side, but under is probably the best bet. Probably spend.
Yeah, I can't stand either team. So in principle, I will boycott this game when it comes to betting. But I do want to ask you. We know Jason Kidd recently got an extension. So even though the Mavericks stink, Kidd's safe for the sake of his job. I'm going to ask you, because he has been attached to some off-the-court drama as well. Is there a chance Ty Lue gets fired midseason?
No shot.
You don't think so? Not at all?
No shot. He got too much respect from his players, front office lows. Like, no. Ty Lue is one of those guys in the NBA that's like just too respected. They won't fire him. He'll maybe like if it comes to that, like maybe he'll like resign, but they won't fire him.
Yeah, I think that I'm only bringing it up also maybe because I've mentioned this on the show in the past too. I still don't understand the Ty Lue love affair the league has for him. I don't think Ty Lue's that good, and I feel like his playoff results speak for themselves. He won a title. LeBron and Kyrie went God mode. They came back from 3-1 down. Draymond got suspended. You know the drill. Has he actually been that good of a coach? I feel like when you're looking at the rosters that his teams have and you're looking at the lack of playoff success, I don't see it. I understand that you could argue he is maybe a better than other coaches in the league, but people view him as being an inner circle elite coach, and I've been fighting that narrative for years. And then they no-show Game 7 against Denver in the playoffs and ended up losing immediately. Like, I don't think Ty Lue's that good. I think that he's fine, but he's viewed as an elite, untouchable guy. I don't see that at all. So maybe I'm just seeing a different brand of basketball than other people, but I really don't think Ty Lue's as good as people say that he is. I think he's fine. I think he's a fine coach who's had a bunch of good rosters, and he's done nothing with it in the postseason. So, yeah, I'm not a Ty Lue guy. I think that there are worse coaches out there, but I'm really not a guy who thinks he's untouchable and thinks that he's worthy of all the praise that he gets. I don't really get it. So that's kind of me. Lonte maybe can explain it to me. I know he has a ring. I mean, so does Mike McCarthy. But I do want to ask you, though, what am I missing with Ty Lue? Because I feel like for playoff series, he's known to punt games and to make adjustments over the course of series. But am I missing something? Like, I don't think Ty Lue's results have been good enough to make him untouchable. What am I missing?
Yeah, I mean, some of that is when you coach LeBron. I mean, when you coach LeBron, they automatically like discount what you can do as a coach. I mean, look at Spoelstra.
Unless you're Blatt.
Yeah, unless you're Blatt. But I mean, look at Spoelstra. Like, people didn't look at Spoelstra. They wanted him fired. Like,
they wanted him fired after 17 games.
Yeah, like they wanted him fired. So, like, it wasn't until, I mean, obviously the winning helps, but Spoelstra was, highly regarded before LeBron got there. He was highly regarded after he left.
He was the video coordinator?
Yeah. So, like, I mean, with regards to Ty Lue, like, he is really good. Really good game-to-game adjuster. I just don't think he values the regular season until after the All-Star break. So I think he's kind of like in between, like doing these types of like data like collection things in the first half of the season. But I mean, I don't think he's bad. He's just,
once again, I don't think he's bad, but he's viewed as being an elite inner circle coach that's untouchable, and I just don't see that. I think that his teams, they made the conference finals without Kawhi, and then Chris Paul and the Suns buried him.
That's impressive, though.
But since then, what have they done? They haven't done anything.
I mean, just like you got some of the teams that he's had, like injuries, like all of that stuff played. So the results obviously don't.
Yeah, but what happened last year?
Yeah.
I know Denver turned out to be fine with Adelman, but they were projected to win that series, and they ended up getting their ass kicked in Game 7.
Yeah, that happens. But I mean, overall, I mean, I think he's a above average coach. I mean,
above average and untouchable are two different things.
Yeah,
I think Ty Lue's fine.
It's not a ton.
I don't think he's a top 5 coach in the league. Like, I just don't think he's that.
Who you think's better? Who you have better?
I mean, I don't want to spend too much time listing guys, but the point is, I'll tell you what. I don't want to forget anybody, but I'll look into that for the next time we do a show together. But based on Ty Lue and the Clippers' tendency to just no-show playoff games and playoff series, I don't really know why Ty Lue gets such I'd say an untouchable resume and reputation.
Yeah,
I just don't see it personally. But either way. Anyway, for this game, I will boycott it. I think both these teams stink. Moving on to the next game. I'll go with the Warriors against the Spurs. Final game on the card. Spurs laying 2.5, immediate revenge game as the Warriors beat the Spurs in the last meeting in San Antonio. Weird game. The Spurs became the first team that I could remember that had 2 players with triple doubles in the same damn game, and they lost. Because Curry had 40-plus points. So Castle and Wemby had triple-doubles, and they lost the game anyway, and Curry went God mode. So for this one, Spurs laying 2.5, over-unders 235.5 for the injury report for this game. Champagne is questionable, still no Dylan Harper. For the Warriors, Kuminga is questionable, and Melton is out. So I'll ask you, I know based on the Terrell deja vu principles, he would go Spurs and under in this game. I like the under. I think it's pretty telling that the last game ended up landing in the 240s, and this game opened up in the mid to low 230s. So I do think when you see an immediate rematch, you see a better defensive effort. These teams know each other's sets a bit better in the rematch. I see a lower scoring game. I think I'll go San Antonio, but I'll go with the under in this game. I think this total being about 10 to 15 points lower than the closing total last game does suggest the over might be a bit of a trap. I'll go with the under in this game.
Yeah, I love the Spurs. I mean, they were a victim of just getting Steph Curried in the third quarter. It happens. I mean, he's still one of the best players in the league. It's going to happen. They were in control of that game for the majority of it outside of that barrage from Curry in the third quarter. They're a better team. Pretty simple for me. I love the Spurs. I mean, the revenge spot is what it is, but the Spurs are just a better team. They outplayed them. It's just that Steph had an out-of-body experience, as he sometimes does. So,
also, Castle was in foul trouble, and that really sabotaged them for certain stretches.
Yeah, so I think that Fox will play better. He had a couple of turnovers, and he just wasn't as sharp as he typically is. He'll play better. I mean, obviously, Wemby's going to be Wemby. Golden State doesn't have a ton of rim protection. San Antonio, top rim percentage offense in the league. I think this may get ugly for Golden State. I like the Spurs to bounce back in a big way.
Yeah, I think the Spurs win. I'm not going to say ugly. I think Golden State hangs in there. I do wonder how much the Warriors actually care about the NBA Cup. They're veterans. I know you could argue mid-season title, better than nothing. I don't think the Warriors give a damn about the in-season cup. You could argue the Spurs do because they're young, they're hungry, they want to win something. But I don't know if Golden State actually cares about this tournament. Do you think they do? Because I don't. With the injury history with Butler and with everybody, like, do I think they care? No.
Yeah, I mean, but it's still like a essentially
it still counts as like a regular season game.
Yeah.
I don't see any extra incentive for a veteran team that has some injury history to just go all hands on deck with one of the older rosters in the league. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Well, we saw the Lakers win it that 1 year with AD, so yeah, it kind of just depends. I can see where you're coming from with Kerr because he is kind of one.
Well, to be fair, the Lakers won it, but it was the first one, so there was like an inaugural thing.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But just throwing it out there, I'm not sure that the Warriors care about this competition. I think the Spurs do, so I'll go for San Antonio in this one. I don't want to ask you though, it's because you brought it up last game. Fox was not very good. How do you think Fox will look so far this season? Because so far, not great. But I'll ask you, I know, of course, De'Aaron Fox still has talent. Do you like the pairing with Castle? Because I think it's kind of redundant, and Castle's decision-making with the passing that he has is making Fox play a lot more off-ball. I don't know if I really like that role for Fox. Like, do you think this fit works?
Too small of a sample size, to be honest. Castle's ascension does I think it kind of hit them by surprise, to be honest.
Yeah. The ball's in his hands a lot more because his decision making is fantastic. So it kind of leaves Fox in no man's land.
Yeah, obviously they believed in him, but this fast, I don't know if they expected this to happen this fast. And I mean, Fox, I mean, he's coming back from an injury. He's rusty, didn't play a ton in the preseason as well. So it's just like they'll be fine. Now, my cousin is a really, really big Spurs fan and has been for as long as I can remember. He hates it. He hates Fox. He hates Fox right now. But I think
I'm gonna ask though, did he like Fox beforehand, like last year?
That's a good question. I think he was kind of indifferent because of no Wemby. So it's you kind of couldn't tell how it was going to work. But I mean, I think you just need to see more of it. And again, their roster they need like a couple of shooters. They really do need two shooters who can spot up, shoot the ball off the catch, and they don't have that. So Fox is fine with playing off the ball. I mean, he's done it his whole career. I mean, he did it at Kentucky. He did it at Sacramento. Like, he's capable of doing it. It's just that the people around him, they can't make shots. Like, he's probably outside of Wemby and Vassell, like, he's the best shot maker. So,
Vassell's had a pretty up and down season so far. Keldon Johnson's more of a spark plug. Champagne's kind of a spot up shooter. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So yeah, I think just give it a little bit more time, and I think they'll be fine. I mean, I like the Spurs. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, JR, I'm not saying that the Spurs are screwed or that Fox has serious problems. I'm just pointing out that what I've watched with this team, there's a lot of Castle, as there should be, but that does leave Fox in an off-ball position, which I feel like he is not as comfortable as being on ball for him. So I wanted to mention it, not saying that it's hit the panic button time, but I do want to point out that Fox playing a bit more off ball than anticipated is something I want to keep an eye on just to see how he looks moving forward. Anyway, it's going to wrap it up for all the games on the card for the NBA Cup on Friday. Before we get into the lock and dog picks, a reminder, they're brought to you by our sponsor, which is Rhythm. So check them out for college football, NFL, NBA, and college basketball picks. Giving away cash prize of the week for tracking your bets in the ad. Track 5 bets from any model that you build, and you can win $1K. Also, in a discount code, if you use the promo code HOPENY25, when download the app, you can get a quarter off first month. Download them using promo code HOPENY25 for a quarter off your first month. Welcome back, everyone, to the NBA Game Podcast. Finished going through all the games for Friday. Time to move on into the lock and dog picks. Lonte, what do you like as your lock and dog for the NBA card?
Yeah, so we'll go with a game we just talked about. I like the Spurs. I like the Spurs a lot. They're moving right now to -2.5. I usually like to take the money line on, games of this status between like 1 and 2.5. But I'll let it 2.5 with Golden State. I mean, with the Spurs against Golden State. For the dog, let's go to Philly. I mean, Philly, this is on the move as well, so it's going down. plus 160 Philly. I mean, I think that number. I think it should be a little bit closer. Maybe that's indication that Cade and Duran, one of those guys, is not going to play. But I'm going to take Philly plus 160 while it's still on the rise. I mean, while it's still at that good number.
Yeah. Okay. So for my lock on the show, I'll go to a total in this game. Give me the under 223.5 in that Nets and Magic game. I understand that Paolo's out. I'm fine with it. I mean, at the end of the day, Orlando, we've seen with Franz by himself. That's fine. But defensively, they look very good against the Knicks. I think the Nets can't score. The Nets are also a team that we know can't shoot. So I can see them dragging the total down themselves. Orlando's offense might be okay, but I see a pretty ugly, straightforward game. Orlando goes up, they'll coast. But I do think this total feels pretty high, especially in Orlando. Good home court environment. The Nets might score less than 100 in this game. So give me the under as my lock for the show. For the dog, what do I want to go with here? Because I might go for a player prop. I don't know if I liked much for the actual sides for a dog here. What do I want to go with for this one? All right. Yeah, you know what? For my dog, I'm going to trust my instincts on that one. He's been very good when Brunson is out of the lineup. It's going to be a pretty high total in this game. Give me Josh Hart double-double at plus 270 for this one. His numbers have been good without Brunson. I see people mentioning earlier in the comment section about Hart. I was going to be saving this for the end. Hart's had a double-double in 2 of the last 4 games against Miami. I am going to point out his numbers without Brunson in the lineup have been incredible. Now it's different coach, but still. Reading off the numbers for Josh Hart in the last couple games without Brunson. 16, 11, and 9. He had 19, 5, and 4. He had 9, 5, and 4, 9, 6, and 4. So once again, he's been pretty good 2 of the last 3 games. 14, 8, and 9. 13, 14, and 8. Last game against Miami without Brunson in the lineup, he had a casual triple-double. So I like Hart in this matchup. He had 12, 13, and 11. Triple-double might be a bit tricky, assuming he's coming off the bench. I think double-double is realistic. Give me Josh Hart double-double. Miami pushing the pace. I can see a lot of possessions for this game. Josh Hart double-double is available at around, trying to find the price again. Once again, plus 270. That'll be my dog for the show. Moving on to the underdog entry. Lonte, what do you like for the card today?
Well, I like DeRozan. That's number one. I like DeRozan. I like Luka. I like Reeves. That's a ton, man. It's a ton.
So, do you have a preference on your favorite?
Luka. Point.
First quarter or full game?
Whatever you prefer. Whatever you get to first is fine. I think they're correlated, obviously.
Yeah. So Luka, just to look at his actual numbers here. So Luka full game points is at 34.5. First quarter's 10.5. We can do first quarter. I mean, first quarter was mentioned on the show. We can do that at 10.5. I'll go back to it because I just mentioned it. I like the Josh Hart RA for this game. I think it's a good spot for him. You can find the RA available at around 12.5. I'll take that. Give me the higher on the 12.5 RA. And last but not least, what do you like?
Maxey, especially with the uncertainty of VJ. He's going to have to score the ball a ton. I like Philly in the game anyway. I think he is going to have a monster game.
Okay, so I'll ask you, though, since we might have no Edgecombe, do you like the points at 29.5, or do you like the PA at 37.5?
Yeah, I like the PA or PRA, however you want to go with it. But I think either one of those is fine.
I'll ignore the rebounds with Drummond. So I'll go for the.
That's fine.
Yeah, so I'll go with the PA with you. All right, so once again, the 3-pick underdog entry for the games tonight. We're going to go with Luka Doncic higher, 10.5 first quarter points. Josh Hart higher, 12.5 RA. And Tyrese Maxey higher, 37.5 PA. Anyway, that is going to wrap it up for the show. Lonte, anything else you want to add for you on the show?
That's about it, man. Have a good weekend.
Cool. Once again, we'll be back next week. Hopefully you enjoy the NBA Cup games tonight. Till next time, you can find me on Twitter, Rachel Radio. Find him on Twitter at XSLonteXX. Reminder, check out the NBA Yelling podcast on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't forget to rate and review on Spotify or Apple. And a reminder, check out the NBA Twitter account as well if you want to get, once again, some updates on upcoming episodes. Till next time, good luck to all of you and all of your bets. Bye, everyone.
Basket.